Okay, wait, I've made you host again and you are now live.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a good day.
See you later. Hi, Shelley.
Hi, Wade.
How are you tonight or this afternoon?
Good. How are you?
It's night here. Good. I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good. Are there other people in the class today?
Yeah, there should be some more people joining us.
Okay.
Kind of coming in slow here. There's Jane. Hi, Jane. How you doing?
Oh, I know Jane from other classes.
I know you get to start to see the same faces over and over after a while. It's makes it nice. Hey, Janet, can you hear us? Up there you are. Hi, Janet. Can you hear me, Janet? If you can, just unmute and say hi. It's like a little bit of a lag there. Yeah, it's like you're having a little bit of a maybe internet problems, Janet. Can't quite hear you and your picture's moving. Maybe lots of times it clears up after a couple of minutes. So hopefully it'll clear up. But I can see you there. Yeah. I can't hear you. It's kind of breaking up. Hi, Mary. Hey, Laurie. How are you? Let's see. Frank, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you and see you.
All right, great. So Janet, if you can hear me okay, just let me know in the chat that you're hearing me. Let's see, check on our time here. All right, Mary, looks like you're back in.
Yes.
For a second. Okay, there you are. I can hear you fine. We're going to get Janet working here and we'll be in pretty good shape. There's a few other people.
Okay. You hear me, Mr. Wade?
I can. We're good.
Good, good.
Welcome, Mary. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, there's Janet. Did you change devices, Janet? Looks like she's coming out on a different device. Oh, that looks better. Can you hear me, Janet? I think it's still connecting. You're muted, Janet.
There we go.
All right, that's much better, much better. All right, great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with some of the housekeeping issues. Yep. Okay. So we may have a few other people join us, but it's, I usually allow the first 5 minutes for meet and greet and getting technology working. I think I've heard from everybody now. And so we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And move your pictures around over here. And is anyone unable to see my phone over here because the picture's in the way? Can everybody see my phone? Okay. All right, good. Because sometimes there's pictures in the way, and we can fix that if you need help. But all right, so
I
that is
cannot see your phone. I can't see your phone.
okay.
I
are
can
the
see
pic-
down to your chest.
so
Oh.
yeah,
Down at the bottom right with the Twitter bird. Is that
That-
what you're talking?
yeah, and then my phone is over here to the right of the Twitter bird.
Yes, I can see it.
All right,
I'd like to
great.
make it bigger. Can we make that bigger when we need? There we go. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Excellent. All right. Good deal. All right. So I'm going to leave everybody unmuted for now because it's a fairly small group, but more than likely I'll have to mute before the class is over. So do check and see if you're muted before you ask a question or make a comment. And hopefully you will have questions and comments, but just go ahead and unmute and ask away. You don't need to raise your hand or anything. Just go ahead and unmute and ask your questions. And I'm going to open the chat. And Kim is here from our support team. We're going to be TA in the class, and Kim will also help monitor the chat. But if your microphone's working, please just go ahead and ask your questions out loud. That way everybody else can hear your questions and I'll hear you on a timely basis. But if you're having mic problems or need to use the chat, that is now open over there as well. So, okay. So I think we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and get started. There's a lot to cover tonight. So this is Twitter, what it is and how it works. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoy the class. My name is Wade Yarber and I'll be the guide for the class. Very briefly about me, I'm from a small town in West Tennessee called Mason, just about 30 miles outside of Memphis. I have a degree in psychology and taught psychology off and on at different colleges, but spent most of my career installing and training users on healthcare information systems, primarily in hospitals. So I've done a lot of adult education, but I love teaching at Get Set Up because I'm teaching people that are in a class because they want to be in the class, not because their employers making them take the class or because it's a required course for their degree. And that's really what we try to do at Get Set Up, create an environment where you can learn topics you're interested in with other people in the class that are interested in the same topic, interacting with each other and interacting with the guide. That's really the Get Set Up experience. The session is being recorded, and any participant can request a copy of that recording. All you have to do is send an email to help@getsetup.io. Be sure to include the class name and the date you attended it. I'm going to put that email address in the chat as well. In case you don't already have that, go ahead and put that, copy that and put it in your email contacts, because at the end of class, I'll talk about some other cases where you might want to use that email, but you definitely need it to get a copy of the recording. We're also live streaming the course, so I do want to welcome anyone that's joining us via live stream. Thank you for attending and hope you enjoy the class as well. But do want to suggest that the best way to experience the class is to go ahead and register for the class, so that you can participate in the class along with the other learners, ask questions of the guide, and get that full experience. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any of the products that we train on. We're just trainers. Okay, let's take a look at the agenda for the class. And by the end of this class, you should know what Twitter is and why it is so popular, how to control what you see in your timeline, know how to interact with tweets on your timeline, and then how to actually post a tweet into Twitter. So let's start with what Twitter is. Twitter is a social networking website designed for finding and sharing short updates all the different social networking sites have their own specialty, and one of Twitter's is that every post is short. The maximum number of characters is 280, and that does include letters, spaces, and punctuation marks. That was doubled not long ago. Originally it was 140 characters, so they've doubled it to 280. But these first two sentences have 319 characters, so I couldn't put these two sentences in a single Twitter post. I could obviously put that and a lot more into a Facebook post, but that's one of the characteristics of Twitter. So why do people use Twitter, and why should you want to use Twitter? And Twitter is much more than just knowing what your friends had for lunch. When Twitter first came out, and I remember when it did, mostly it was people sharing what they're doing all day with each other, like what they had for lunch, where they're going after lunch. And a lot of people didn't really want to know that much information. It's kind of evolved over the years. And in fact, now I consider it more of a news information site than a personal information site. You can still obviously interact with your friends on Twitter and share information. But I think most people, or at least a large number of people, use it primarily to get information from other organizations and the people beyond their group of friends. So in that way, it's a nice complement to Facebook, which really is focusing on interacting with your friends. You can contact any person or organization in the world that has a Twitter account. And surprisingly, lots of times you'll get a reply. So you could tweet a famous movie star, singer, politician, and there's a reasonable chance you'll hear something back. You can't really do that with Facebook and some of the others. And you really don't even have to tweet to use Twitter. You can get, as I said, lots of information from Twitter without ever entering a tweet. So any questions about that background material? And as we're going through all of this, if you have questions, please just go ahead and stop and let me know. Is there anyone that does not have a Twitter account? Okay, a couple of people. That's kind of the group that we're expecting in this class. It's either people that either have a Twitter account but really haven't done much with it, or people trying to figure out what it is and decide if they want an account. I'll tell you how to get an account, and it is pretty simple. To create a Twitter account, you can either use your desktop, a browser on your desktop computer, or you can use the smartphone app. It really is designed to work as a smartphone app, and that's what I'll be using today for the class. But you can use it as a browser, and you can sign up through the desktop if that's easier. So either way, if you're using the app, you obviously need to download that from the App Store, and the icon looks like this if you're looking for it to download it. You need to sign up, create an account, and it has step-by-step instructions on the screen. A couple of things you'll need to put in your account. You need to have a Twitter username, and that is the unique name. So every individual on Twitter has a unique username. It's sometimes called a Twitter handle. So if you're somebody talking about their handle, they're talking about their username. And again, Twitter will assign one to you when you sign up, but you can change it at sign up time, or you can go in and change it later even. Some of the restrictions are when it has to be unique on Twitter. So if your name is John Smith and you want John Smith to be your handle, it's probably taken. And it has to be fewer than 15 characters. So those are the limitations. Yeah, most people do try to make it be some variation of their name, but it doesn't even have to be your name. If people know you as Mr. Wizard or Miss Wizard, you can use that as your Twitter handle as long as no one else has it. So it can be anything that meets these two criteria, but it at least should be something people will recognize you by. You also need to have a unique phone number or email to sign up for Twitter. Whichever one you use, they're going to send you a verification, a text to your phone or email that you have to reply back, just to confirm that you are the owner of that phone number or the owner of that email. Somebody's not trying to spoof you.
If,
And
if
that's about,
someone does send you stuff that's not, like I get a lot of stuff in Arabic or something, and
uh-huh.
obviously that's not for me.
I mean,
So,
text.
so I just don't even use Twitter because that started happening. I mean, this has been going on for years or whatever. Anyway, but I went ahead and took the class today to see what's the deal with that.
Okay, and I can
So
show you how
I
you
just
can.
got in late. I'm sorry.
Okay, you really haven't missed anything. We're talking about how to sign up for an account. So it sounds like you've already got one, so you're there.
That I don't use.
Okay, hopefully we'll show you some ways to make it more useful. All right,
Okay.
thanks, Kathleen. Good to have you. Okay, so what you can go in and change that profile information once you've signed up. And so since I've already signed up, we're going to start at this point. Entering and customizing profile information. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Twitter app here on my phone. I'm going to slide this over just a little bit so it's a little bigger. And this is closer to the center of the screen. So to get to your profile, you click on the triple bar at the top.
This
And-
is inside Twitter, right?
Yes, this is once you've downloaded and installed Twitter. So you launch that app and then touch that triple bar. Let me go back at the top upper left. And if you don't have an account yet, you can just watch my screen and kind of see how this all works. And then you can decide if you want to sign up or not. Then I'm going to tap profile, which is right here. And this brings me to my profile, and you can see your profile. I'll draw parallels to Facebook because I know most people use Facebook or have some passing familiarity with it. So your profile in Twitter looks and works very much like your profile does in Facebook. This is my display name, it's called. And this does not have to be unique. This is what people call you, what you want to be known by. So there can be 250 Wade Yarbrough out there. This is the handle or username. This is what has to be unique. And so mine is Wade_Yarbrough, and your handle always has the @ sign in front of it. So that's how you can get to me on Twitter. The one that Twitter recommended to me was, I think, Yarbrough.Wade or something like that, some other combination. I changed it to be this. I liked it a little better. So you can change it. I'm going to click on edit and go in to where you can actually see where you can enter the information. That may make it a little easier to follow. And you can also change your pictures here, your profile picture and your background picture, just by clicking on the plus and uploading a new picture. But here's your display name. And again, you can change that at any point. Your bio is what you want to say about yourself. And again, in the theme of brevity, it's only 160 characters you have to work with, so that you can't tell people a lot about yourself, but you can tell them as much as you would like to about them yourself within that 160 character limitation. And then there's other information. This is not required, but your location. If you have a website, you can put your website, and you can put your birth date if you want to. And that's it. So that's one nice thing about Twitter compared to Facebook, where you've got tons and tons of biographical information you put in there, where you went to school, where you were born, who you're married to, where you've worked. There's not much information in Twitter, which means there's not much privacy that you're concerned about, because this is the only thing that anyone can see about you.
Wade, could you explain why you have #lifelong_learner at the end of your bio?
Yeah, we'll talk about hashtags, but hashtags are ways to find information. And so if someone searches on the for #lifelong_learner, it might bring up my profile in their search. So that's a way people can find me, other people that are lifelong learners. So it's a way to potentially show my profile to someone.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so and we'll talk more about hashtags, but yeah, you can put a hashtag in your bio if you want to. Not required, but it's a way to help people that have a common interest find you. Okay. Other questions on the profile? All right. So let's go on to getting information you want, because that's probably the number one issue with most people with Twitter. If they don't like it and don't use it, they're not seeing the information they want to see, and or they're seeing a lot of information they don't want to see. So it's really not working for them. So hopefully I can make it work better for you. And so let's talk about the timeline, and I'm going to cancel out of here because I didn't change anything. And hit the little home button down in the bottom left. And that takes you to the home screen. And this is the timeline. It's the same thing as a news feed in Facebook. They just call it a timeline instead of a news feed, just to keep me confused. And I'll probably call it by the wrong name at least 10 times today. But it serves the same function. These are all the tweets that have been put onto your timeline. And just like Facebook, they can come from a number of different sources. Most of them come from accounts that you're following. So when you follow someone on Twitter, and we'll talk about how to do that, then you would see their tweets.
I have a
Twitter
question.
also,
If you put something, or say you're right there, right?
Uh-huh.
And say, then you can type on there something that you say, right?
yeah, you can post a tweet. I'll show you how to do that.
And
later.
then my question is, can everybody, no matter who, can anybody see it?
They could in Twitter, yes.
So there's no privacy in it. So whatever you put there, it's like you're putting it on the front page.
You should, yeah, anything you put, you should assume that it could go to anyone's account who could then retweet it to more people's accounts, who could retweet it to more people's accounts.
And then
Yeah.
they'll know who I'm following too?
They can come to your profile and see who you're following. So Twitter is very open. Again, there's not much information in there about you, so people can't find where you live and where you went to school and anything like that. But they can, certainly anything you're typing here, you should enter it with the assumption that anybody in the world could potentially see it.
See it, right.
Because it's not controlled as much as Facebook, where you can say only my friends can see this post, and there's no way to get it out from that friends group. Twitter doesn't have that friends concept. You're posting, and like Facebook, there is a Twitter algorithm, and the Twitter algorithm decides where it's going to put things and in what order. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But it is very much open. Okay. So, so what you'd see on here, again, most of what you see, or a lot of what you see, are tweets from accounts you follow, because they're highly likely to show up on your feed. Again, the Twitter algorithm makes those decisions. Twitter will also put suggested popular tweets from accounts that you don't follow. And this gets to Kathleen's question. So let's say I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so I tweet about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I follow the Pittsburgh Steelers. Somebody tweets something about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I like it. Twitter figures out I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it may put tweets from people that I don't follow. If it's about the Steelers and it's a very popular tweet, 2,000 people have liked that tweet. Twitter may decide to put it on my feed, even though I'm not following that person. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's kind of how that works. So suggested tweets, promoted tweets are advertisements, just like on Facebook. So and there'll be some of these in here we'll look at as I go through it. Retweets from accounts that you follow. So a retweet is like in Facebook, if you're going to publish something or share something, and I'll show you how to retweet and how that works in a few minutes. But if somebody retweets something, it'll go to all of their followers. And then you can also select topics that you like. And I'll show you how to do that in a couple of minutes too. And some of the things on your feed are because you liked a particular topic. Again, that may be from somebody, and very likely will be somebody you don't follow. So lots of ways things can end up on your feed. Let me see if I can find a couple of examples of those. For motivational quotes, I know I follow them. Twitter works very similar to Facebook if you're a Facebook person. So you can tap on the little triple dot here, and get some information because I don't think I followed. And this is an ad. So because it says not interested in this ad. So Twitter isn't as upfront with the ads. With Facebook, it actually says sponsored, and you know it's an ad. Here to see if that's an ad or not, you have to touch the triple dot, and it now tells me by virtue of saying I'm not interested in this ad, it lets me know that it's an ad. So if I don't like DraftKings and I don't want to see their ads anymore, I can say not interested in this ad, and Twitter will probably not put that ad on my timeline again. They'll put other ads on my timeline. If I like DraftKings, I can follow them. So now I'm following DraftKings. You can follow any account, whether it's a personal account or a corporate account or a celebrity account, etc. And if I don't want to see anything else, I can block DraftKings as well, which again keeps them from their advertisements from showing up. It doesn't stop me from getting advertisements, it just stops DraftKings. So that's an advertisement. This is from an organization. So I get set up, you know who that is. I get set up, has a Twitter account, and I follow them. I'm trying to find something that's coming from.
So you can see video as well, huh?
Yep, you can post a video, you can post a picture.
Probably short.
A lot of video, yeah, they have to be fairly short. Okay, well, I can't find what I'm looking for here. I was looking for something that came from a topic that I'm following, and I can't find one, but they'll show up on here as well. Before the day's over, I'll probably find, well, there's one.
BT21.
This little icon here says it came from a topic that I'm following.
Follow topic. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So that's, so anyway, lots of different ways things can show up here. So let's move on. I think you got the idea. So let's talk about those topics. So again, if you're just starting out and you're not following many people, or you want to kind of control what you're starting to see, one way is through using topics. And to get to the topics, again, we're coming up here to the triple bar and click on topics right here. And you can see these are the topics that I'm currently following. Technology, psychology, viral tweets, funny tweets, and tech news. If I decide I don't want to follow tech news anymore because I've got technology and tech news, maybe that's too much, I can just click here and unfollow tech news. So it's very easy to unfollow something you're following. And Twitter will suggest topics, and the more you're interacting with Twitter, the better it's going to suggest things for you. So these are topics that Twitter thinks I might want to follow. But if I want to just go to the full list, I can click more topics. This takes me into an exhausting list of topics. They kind of break it into category. Again, these are the ones that Twitter thinks I'll want. That it breaks into science, news, technology, food, gaming, music. You get the idea. So if there's a certain type of music I like, I can pick that. I can even go all the way down to different people.
Now I get Twitter sent to my email somehow. Do you know anything about that? Why that would happen?
There are ways where you can send something, just like in Facebook. If you tag somebody, it'll send them an email. I think if you tag somebody in Twitter, it will probably send them an email as well.
Yeah, because it says we sent this to blank blank, that's me. And it says next to it, unsubscribe. I'm thinking, well, I didn't subscribe to whatever this Twitter is on my email anyway. And like I told you, a lot of stuff that it comes up like this, it'll come to my messages on my phone, on an iPhone, or my email, and it'll be in Arabic or something.
Yeah, And you can go into Twitter on your iPhone or your Android, whatever you're using, and turn off all those announcements. So you don't get the announcements, the notifications. But I'll show you later how you can block those accounts that are sending it to you. Is probably the better way to do it. So again, this is by selecting topics. This is a way to tell Twitter some of the things you want to see on your feed, just as I've done up here.
Topics. Okay.
And you can also even do the alternative. You can say, here's topics I'm not at all interested in. Don't send me any of those. But that's topics. I have a mixed opinion of topics. I think they're good if you're just getting started, but you tend to get a lot of stuff you're not interested in with the topics. So I'm gradually eliminating a lot of the topics, but I think it's really good when you're just starting. Just don't go crazy. Only pick about 4 or 5 at the most. Maybe start with 1 or 2 and see how it's working. All right, so let's go back to what you're seeing on your timeline and how you're seeing it. There's 2 different views of your timeline. One is called the home view, and that's the default view. And again, we've sort of talked about the Twitter algorithm before. And in the home view, the Twitter algorithm prioritizes based on tweets that Twitter thinks you are most likely to care about seeing. So it takes my activity, what I'm liking, what I'm not liking, who I'm following, and tries to figure out what I want to see. And that's how it orders the things it's putting on my feed. The alternative
I have a
is,
question.
yeah. Mhm.
I have a question.
Sure.
I didn't know that I had subscribed to a particular tweeter, but I do like their tweets. But there is no way to say like. There's only a way to say love. It shows a heart. It doesn't show any thumbs up, just a heart. And that
Yep.
seems like a little heavy for me, to just somebody I don't even know.
It really just means like it just has, that's the icon it has beside it. But whereas Facebook's got lots of different little icons you can use for liking, at least for now, Twitter, and what she's talking about, we'll get to this later, is that if I want to like something, this is the only option I've got. It's a heart.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
it's really not meaning anything other than I like it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So the other alternative is, let me go back up to the top here. Latest tweets, and here it gives them to you chronologically. And you can switch back and forth by clicking on this star up here in the upper right. So let me do that, watch my screen so you can see what happens. So when I touch that, it says my timeline is currently set to the home view. That's the default. That's what it's normally going to say. But I can switch to latest tweets. Let me give you a scenario. Again, people use Twitter to get late breaking news. And so maybe the Super Bowl is going on, but I'm not watching it, but I want to keep track of what's going on. So I'm going to switch to latest tweets because it's going to then put tweets in chronological order. So if there's a tweet about the game, it'll pop in here automatically. So, and you can tell that when you look on this feed, because you can see, the first one here was posted 1 hour ago. And then as I come on down, this is 1 hour ago. An hour ago. If I keep going, it'll get to something that was 2 hours ago, and it'll just start going back in time. 2 hours ago. So the latest tweets are showing you things in order. That's the best way to go if you're trying to follow something. Maybe there's a flood happening or a hurricane coming in, and you want the latest breaking news as it happens. Put it in latest tweets. If I'm just looking at stuff and I want to see the things that I'm most interested in, I would switch it back to home view. And now it's showing me the things based on my activity that Twitter thinks I'm most likely to want to see. And see, this first thing it has is 12 hours ago. So a lot of things have happened since that, but Twitter thinks that this is what I'd want to see the most, is because I like a lot of motivational quotes, tweets. And so Twitter knows I like these. Everybody understand the 2 different feeds and how they work differently?
Yes. Can you save items from your feed?
You can, no, I don't think there is. And sometimes I can't remember the difference between Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Facebook and Instagram have ways to save. I don't think Twitter does.
Okay.
So
It is-
can you have more than one account on Twitter? I mean, how does that work? Because I had one which I was going to use to keep up with my kids, but then it got stuff coming in that I didn't want. So then I tried doing a whole new name. And
yep.
then I don't know what's now, there's two in limbo or whatever.
Yeah, you got to have a unique phone number or email address. But if you use your phone number for the first one, you can do an email address for the second one. Or if you got two emails, you can use a different email to create a new account. It'll have to have a different handle. So you can't use the same handle again. But
Right.
if you
But
use a
still, the
different
second
email
one-
and a different handle, there's no, Twitter doesn't know, they're just two different accounts from the same person. All right, so let's keep going. If there's no questions about the two timelines, it's not a big deal, but what I found is most important, if there's something going on and you want to follow, minute to minute what's happening, you want to go to that latest tweets version. And that is what a lot of people use Twitter for. If there's something happening, natural disasters, sporting events, and they want to get, minute to minute what's happening, you want to be on the latest tweets.
Is that local or worldwide?
It's worldwide.
Worldwide, okay.
Again, yeah. It's gonna bias toward things local to you in the algorithm, but Twitter could put something from anywhere in here. Okay, let's go ahead. So the next thing you want to do, you've gotten your account set up, you've got your topics set up, you kind of know how things are working a little bit. You want to follow accounts that you are interested in. And there's several ways to do that. If you're already following websites or blogs, or you can add them to Twitter, and you can do that pretty easily. You can do it from your computer or from Twitter. So for example, maybe I follow the Wall Street Journal and I'm on their website all the time. Every website has a link to their social media. It's usually up at the top. Most likely it's down at the very bottom. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and there's their Twitter account. So if I want to follow the Wall Street Journal on Twitter, I can just click here. It's going to open Twitter on my browser. I mentioned you can run it on your browser, even though it really works best on your phone. But now it's opened my account, and it's gone to the Wall Street Journal profile. So all I have to do is click follow, and now I'm following the Wall Street Journal. So as your own different web pages that you like and you want to see their information on your Twitter feed, just go to their link and follow them.
So in other words, you could be on a different website altogether, click it and it'll find you on your Twitter.
Or you're on the website of the organization you want to follow.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went to the Wall Street Journal's webpage and clicked on their link. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah, see, I was at wallstreetjournal.com. So you're on a website that you like, and just go down to the bottom and find this little icon here and click
So
it.
how does it know how to find you?
When you click this, it's going to open Twitter on your device, and I already had logged in. Normally, when you click that, it's going to make you enter your Twitter username and password, and that's how it links it together. So it's opening Twitter on your computer. You'd have to enter your account number because it doesn't know what your account number and username is. I already had been in here earlier today, so mine was already loaded, so it didn't ask me to put it in again. Yeah, good question. Yeah. I could also do the same thing from my phone. If I want to follow the Wall Street Journal, I can just click on the search down here and search that way. Again, if I'm on my computer at a website, that way's easier, but I can come into here and type the Wall Street Journal. And I won't have to type the whole thing. I type the wall, and there it is. So I can click here and click follow.
Mhm.
So if there's some place I want to follow and I'm sitting there with my phone, I can do it that way. If I'm on my computer and I happen to be on a website and I say, this is a great website, I want to get their information on my Twitter timeline, I would go find that link on their page and do it that way.
If you only want one, Facebook or Twitter, which one would you say is more popular or one that you should have over the other?
They're really different. If I'm getting news, I would go to Twitter. If I want to exchange information with my friends, I'd go to Facebook. I use both. I personally hardly ever tweet on Twitter. I go there just for news and information. For me, it's a newspaper. It's not a way to interact with other people. But you can do it on Twitter. But I don't have a lot of friends that are on Twitter. All my friends are on Facebook. So if I want to send a picture to my friend, I'd do it on Facebook. If I want to find out what the score is of the ball game, I'd go to Twitter. All right, so let me keep going here, trying to keep an eye on the time here. I do want to talk about hashtags a little bit because they're very important. Twitter originated the whole hashtag thing. Now all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, all have hashtags. But what the purpose of a hashtag is to pull together tweets based on a topic. So again, it's another way to get to see tweets that you're interested in. One of them is to do topics. One is to follow organizations. The other is to pull things together by hashtag. And there's several ways you can get to a hashtag. Since we were just talking about searching, you can search for a hashtag. So I'm going to do a search here. And so, for instance, this is timely COVID-19 vaccine. If I want to see what's going on with the COVID-19 vaccine, there's actually a hashtag here already suggested, COVID-19. I'll just grab that one instead. And it shows me all the posts. Again, the Twitter algorithm is curating these, but what all these posts are going to have in common is that they all have hashtag COVID-19 somewhere in the post. So there it is there. COVID-19. So it basically goes out through all of Twitter, pulls all the tweets that have that hashtag in them. The algorithm, again, sorts them into the order it thinks I'd want to see them in and puts them in here. And it's pretty much, for the most part, it's pretty much chronological. 1 hour ago, 45 minutes ago. So it's, but that one was 3 hours ago. So it's not in exact chronological order.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
On Facebook, often when people are having a discussion about something, especially one that involves strong opinions, they'll put hashtag and they'll put some long, crazy phrase. Nobody's possibly going to be looking for that phrase. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, those do happen. Yeah, and there are other ways that you can see the hashtag, especially in Twitter and Instagram. I don't use hashtags much on Facebook, but I know they do have them there. But let me talk about the other ways where you can find hashtags. So, yeah, one is to do the search, but that's more if it's something major like that. You want to see what's going on with COVID-19, or if the Super Bowl is on, hashtag Super Bowl. Those are pretty obvious what the hashtag is. The other way, and the way that I find hashtags more often, is just on your feed. And it's gonna, now as I'm trying to do this, I'm gonna have trouble finding something. Let me go back here to, and if you're down in the feed and you want to get to the top, just touch the bird and it'll take you up to the top of your feed. Okay, so here we go. This is something posted by the World Health Organization. I follow the World Health Organization, but they've got hashtag COVID-19 and hashtag World Health Day.
Yeah.
So, and if I see this and that says, I wonder what World Health Day is, I can just touch that hashtag. I think I missed it. And bring that up. And so now I can see all the posts that say World Health Day. So lots of times I'll branch into it from, I lost my phone here. That's not good. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get it back. Oh, it's going to be Henri. It's going to take me just a second here to get it back. All right, it's going to be really Henri. Let me try again. All right, there it is. Sorry about that. Technology, I love it. Okay, let's go back into Twitter. So yeah, so anyway, that's another way you can find hashtags is on a tweet. When you're looking at through their tweets, you'll see hashtags embedded in that tweet, and you can just follow it from there.
Wade,
Uh-huh.
if you then wanted to include your own tweet in that hashtag line, you would just include that hashtag term in your tweet?
Exactly. So if I wanted to post something about the COVID-19 or whatever, I would just put that in my tweet. And we're going to try and get to that tweeting pretty quickly here.
And do those hashtag names count among the number of characters you're allowed to use in the tweet?
They do. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why you don't see that in Twitter. You can see 20 or 30 hashtags in one post, but in Instagram, you'll see 20 or 30 in one post. But with Twitter, since you're worried about the number of characters, you typically only see one, maybe two. All right, so that's hashtags. We've talked a little bit about this. Let me talk about the bottom of the tweet, how to interact with tweets, and then we're going to get in and show you how to post a tweet before we run out of time here. But this is very much like Facebook. So if I want to comment, I just touch here and I can put in a comment here. If I want to retweet it, and that's like sharing in Facebook. So if I click retweet, there's two ways to retweet. If I just retweet it, it'll just send it out to all of my followers from me. If I want to say something about it before I retweet it, it's called a quote tweet. I'll touch that one. And so here I can add a comment, and then it will send this retweet. So I can say, this is really great, or isn't this stupid? So you can add a comment about what you're retweeting. But if you want to just send it along without a comment, you can do that as well. I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to retweet it. And then we talked about liking, so you can like it, and you can share. And so if I wanted to, and this is where, who was it? Kathleen, I think. If I wanted to tell my wife about this tweet, I can send her a message, and I think you can do an email here. There it is, email. So this is where somebody could email you from a tweet, and you would get that email. They have to take that action, but that's a way to send something out of Twitter via email with a link back to that timeline tweet.
Yeah, I think it was Twitter sending me a tweet trying to say, like, do you want to, we haven't seen you in a long time. Do you want to activate your account or something like that?
Oh yeah, there's a way to shut those down as well. It's in the settings somewhere. I'm not sure if I can find it, but there's a way where you can shut down, tell Twitter not to send you emails.
Yeah, I've just been deleting anything Twitter because it's not anything I understand anyway. It's Arabic or something.
Okay.
And I don't know how it got started.
Yeah.
I think my account was hacked. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah, it may have been. So probably the best thing to do is to create a new one and shut that old one down. So let's tweet
Wade,
very
quick
quickly.
question.
Sure. Mhm.
When you were showing how to retweet, how did you actually send that out? Do you click on the little tweet icon in the upper right corner of that individual tweet?
Yeah, so let me do that one again. Let me find something that I want to, I'll retweet that one. This is an okay tweet, so I don't want to, so I'm going to click here on the retweet.
Right.
And then I'm just going to retweet it. I'm not going to comment.
Oh, so that,
Well,
that
what
would
is
do it in
retweet?
and of itself.
It's done.
What does retweet, whatever, what does that do?
It takes this tweet and it sends it out to all my followers. In fact, let me go to the top of my.
So you
feed.
received it, but you want to share it with more people?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So it sends it out that way. In fact, you can see this was a post that Emmanuel Macron did, and World Health Organization retweeted it.
Oh, God.
So it'll show you that it was a retweet, and you can see there's lots of retweeting going on. That's one of the big things in Twitter. You'll see a ton of retweets.
And Wade, if you wanted to send out a retweet with a comment, after you put the comment in, then what would you click on to send that message? The word tweet?
Yep, right here.
Gotcha, thanks.
Okay, and we're almost out of time here, but luckily tweeting is probably the easiest thing to do if you've used any other social sites, Facebook, Instagram. It works the same way, but let me show you how to tweet. So this is the icon, what you touch to actually tweet something. So I'm going to touch that. And again, looks very much like Facebook, what's happening. So this is where you type in what you want to say. And then you can select a picture from your camera. You can select a video. Here's a 49-second video. So let me go grab that picture again. So I clicked on the picture. There's the little video. So I'll grab that. Okay. And I don't know why it's a video. It's not letting me send it. I told you I don't tweet a lot. Let me just send a picture. That's easier. Oh, maybe that's it. No, I don't know what. There must be some trick there. But with the picture, you just click it and then say add. And so it's now got the text I put in here. It's got the picture. You can add GIFs. You can do voice. Same kind of things you can do with all the other sites. You can add a location if you want to. And then just hit the tweet. And it tells you that your tweet was sent, and it's going to put it up here at the top of my timeline. So it puts it on my timeline, and it puts it on all the timelines of all my followers.
Would that be regardless of which form of the two timelines you've got set up?
Well, again, Twitter decides. So if you're following me and I post that, you might see it immediately. You may not see it for 4 hours. You may not see it till tomorrow. You may not see it at all. Twitter decides. Because if you've, when you're going through tweets, if you never like dog pictures, or if you even indicate you don't like dog pictures, and that was a dog picture, Twitter probably won't put it on your feed. So you don't necessarily see everything that everybody you follow in your feed, because some people are following thousands of people on Twitter.
But in your own timeline, would it put it at the top of your timeline?
Yeah, and if you go to your timeline, or to your profile, it'll always be in your profile. So everything you've tweeted or retweeted, this is the one I retweeted in class, that's in there. And so that video worked. I'm not sure what I was doing wrong on this one. So the profile is like in Facebook. It shows you everything that you've tweeted before in here.
How do you log out? Or you can't log out?
I'm sure you can. I never do, because that way you're in there. When you come back in on your phone, you don't really need to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure how. I don't see a log out. There's bound to be a way, but I know when I'm done, I just hit the home button and close it down that way. But I don't literally log out. Okay, so I think. The other thing that I didn't do, let me go back in again. I'm not going to send one, but let me go back in real quickly. Obviously, if you want to put a hashtag in here, you would just put hashtag and then put the name of the hashtag COVID. If you start typing, it starts to tell you hashtags that have those first 3 letters. So if I wanted to post this to hashtag COVID-19, I could add a hashtag in there. You can also tag a person. It's called a mention. So if I wanted to, I wouldn't tag myself, but if I wanted to tag somebody else, I would put @ and whatever their handle is. And if you do that, it appears in their notifications tabs. And I'll show you where that is in just a minute. So those are the 2 things you can add into a tweet. You can add a hashtag, or you can put an @. And I don't know anyone else's right off the top of my head to put in there, but you get the idea. You just put an @ sign and their handle. I can send it to Bill Gates. So if I did that, it would now send Bill Gates a notification that I had mentioned him in a tweet.
God.
I'm going to cancel out of that. Let me go show you where those are. Here's the notifications down here. And that will show you, if you go to mentions, this shows me anytime someone's mentioned to me in a tweet. All right. We are out of time. I had lots of good discussions tonight. Hopefully everybody learned something. If there's any really hot questions, if not, we do need to go on because there's only 3 minutes left at the top of the hour in case anybody's trying to get to another class or has another commitment. I do want to go ahead. We've already done how to tweet. So I do want to thank you for attending and hope you did enjoy the class, learn some more about Twitter. And there's a couple of related classes, WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger or other social media sites that we have if you're interested in those as well. Let me go to the closing because I do want to mention a few things that happen after the class in case you're not familiar with how Get Set Up works. So you'll get an email after class and that email will have several sections to it. There'll be class notes, and in the class notes, there'll be links to some websites which have additional information, some of the same things we covered in class, as well as some other related information that we didn't have time to cover in class. There'll also be links to 3 other classes. You can click that link to go directly to that class. You can click Give Feedback. It brings up our feedback form. Very quick to give feedback. Rate the class 1 to 5, rate the guide 1 to 5. Hit Done is all you have to do. There is a place for comments, not required, but greatly appreciated. And there is a link to view schedule, which will take you back to our website where you can book another class.
Great.
So,
Thank
any
you.
questions about our website? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
Thank
that's
you so much.
everything. I do want to thank you for attending and hope you have a great evening. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Wade, you got time
Thanks.
for a quick
Bye-bye.
question?
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Just
Right,
curious,
Frank.
you may have said this, but if you wanted to determine who you're already following, you gave the example of like following the Wall Street Journal. What if you forgot that you had already been following them? Is there a listing somewhere in your profile or so that shows the things you're already following so you don't duplicate efforts?
Yep. So can you see my screen here now again?
Uh-huh, yep.
So that's in your profile.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, let me go back. It's right. It's right here. So here's who I'm following. So
If
I
you
can
clicked
click
on
there
that,
to see.
It would list them.
Well, it should. It's not when I'm clicking on it. Oh, I think it's blinking, but it's not showing up. Let me put that in the email. I think that's all you're supposed to have to do, but it's blinking when I touch it, but it's not coming up. Let me just check and see if it's in here. Oh, let's try this one. There it is. All right. You have to go in one more level and then touch it there. So this
Okay.
is everybody that I'm following, and here's all my followers here.
Okay,
Yeah. So if I
that was
want
under your profile.
yeah, let me just, I had to unpick a minute. Let me go back in. So you click into the profile and then click into edit profile. Oops. Yep. And then following. Don't go into edit.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good
Okay,
evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye now.
Great.